In this three-part series, we're looking at openers rebid after they've opened one of a suit and followed by a new suit response from their partner, either at the 1 or the 2 level. How we choose our rebid depends on whether we are balanced or not. In part B, we covered how to rebid when we are balanced, but now we complete the lesson by considering openers rebid options when they hold an unbalanced hand. With more unbalanced hands, our rebid will depend on two things. Firstly, how strong opener is. Remember, an opening bid at the 1 level could be anything from 11 high card points to 19 or sometimes even more than that. So that's a pretty wide range. So we normally treat any opening hand with 16 or more high card points as though it's a strong hand. And anything below 15 high card points we treat as a weaker opening hand. And weaker opening hands have fewer possible rebid options. Your rebid option also depends on the shape of your hand. We know you're unbalanced, but do you have one long suit or do you have any other suit that you can bid? Just a reminder that whatever hand you've got, if you can actually support a major suit that's been bid by responder, and you know there's an 8-card fit, then all your rebid problems are solved. Once you know you have an 8-card fit in a major suit, that's a large part of the goal of the auction achieved. All you need to do now is rebid appropriately to show your strength. So let's suppose that you've opened one suit, partner's now rebid a major, and you can support that major suit. Well, if you've got a weaker hand, one of the weaker type opening hands, typically 15 or fewer high card points, and 4-card support for your partner's major suit, then you can simply raise their major suit to the next level. That shows that you've got a hand up to about 15 high card points, an opening hand strength up to 15, and that you've got 4-card support. So here's an example. With this hand, you've got 15 high card points. Holding both 4 hearts and 4 spades, it's always correct to open 1 heart first. If partner responds 1 spade, they're showing 4 cards in the spade suit. You are now happy to support spades, and of course you would bid spades at the next appropriate level because you have a relatively weak opening hand with just 15 high card points. So you would bid 2 spades and you would leave that up to partner. It would depend on the strength of their hand to decide where we go from there. If you've got a slightly stronger hand, of course, you don't need to raise to the next level. You can actually jump. Okay, so here's an example of that. Similar sort of hand, but now we've got 17 high card points. Again, we'd open 1 heart, and partner responds 1 spade. We're happy to hear 1 spade. We know that there's an 8-card fit in spades. All we have to do now is bid at the appropriate level, and we can show our extra strength, the fact that we are stronger than 16 high card points, by jumping to 3 spades, and that would show partner that we've got something between, say, 16 and 19 high card points and 4-card support for the spade suit. Remember, that's always the priority. But of course, in most situations, as we're going to cover later in this lesson, we aren't able to support partner's major suit, and we have to find a new bid of our own. So let's look at what our options are in that situation. Generally, when opener has fewer than about 16 high card points, they should treat their hand as one of the weaker types of opening hand and rebid at the lowest level possible. So in situations where opener is unable to support a major suit if it's been bid by responder, they should ideally now look to show another suit. This would tell partner an awful lot about the shape of your hand, and it gives them a choice of suits to choose from. But be careful. With a weaker hand, you can only do this if your second suit is lower ranked than your first suit. So here's an example here. If you open 1 heart, partner responds 1 spade, your rebid of 2 diamonds, you're bidding in a suit lower ranked than hearts, so that would be perfectly okay even with a weaker type of opening hand. You've now given partner a lot of information about your hand. You've told them you've got 4 diamonds. Because you've opened a heart and you've rebid in another suit, you must be unbalanced. And because you've opened a heart with an unbalanced hand, you must have 5 hearts here. So you're very likely to have at least 5 hearts and at least 4 diamonds. Partner now knows an awful lot about the shape of your hand. If you can't do that, Perhaps partners bid a minor suit. In that case, with 4-card support for a minor suit, we could simply raise responder's minor suit and raising that to the next level. And normally, of course, that would also show 5 cards in the suit that we've opened. So here, if we open a heart, responder bids 2 clubs. If by raising to 3 clubs, we're showing that we've got 4 cards in the club suit, which means we're very likely to have had 5 or more cards in the heart suit. So we're telling partner a great deal about our shape. We're probably at least 5-4 in hearts and clubs, and we've got a weaker type of opening hand. The last resort, if you can't support a minor or you can't bid a second suit, is to bid your suit again. Okay, you would simply bid it at the next level. What that does is it guarantees that you must have 5 or more cards in that suit to be able to rebid it. If you didn't have 5, you would have found another bid either initially or later on, because you're likely to have been balanced, and you may well have opened no trumps or rebid in no trumps. So here, a bid of 1 heart, partner responds 1 spade. If we respond 2 hearts, it's very likely that we've got at least 5 hearts. We may even have 6 hearts, of course, and an unbalanced hand here. But that's probably the last resort. Players are very keen to rebid their suit as soon as they've got 5 cards in a suit. But often it's much better to bid another suit if possible, because that tells partner a lot about the shape of their hand, and it often infers that they've got 5 cards or more in the first suit that they've bid anyway. So you get almost 2 effects for 1 single bid. Now let's look at this principle that we've said that you have to, with a weaker type hand, you can only rebid with a lower ranked suit. Now that's all to do with this principle of the opener's safety barrier. The principle of the barrier is often difficult to grasp, but it's simply a guideline that stops you from unwittingly forcing the bidding to too high a level. Think of it that as opener, whenever you open one of a suit, you've automatically created an artificial barrier at 2 of that suit. If opener next bids a new suit above the level of the barrier, they would require to have a strong type of opening hand, normally 16 or more high card points. So let's look at an example here. Let's imagine that our opener's first bid is 1 diamond. That automatically creates a safety barrier in their mind of 2 diamonds. Any rebid above the level of 2 diamonds, any new suit that they rebid above the level of 2 diamonds would show that they've got a strong hand. They'd need to have at least 16 high card points to be able to rebid 2 hearts or 2 spades as new suits. Of course, they're perfectly at liberty to support those suits if partners bid them, but if they were to bid them as new suits on their own, that would be bidding above the level of the barrier, and it would require a stronger hand to do so. So here's an example here. Again, we've got a weaker type of hand here. We've got 15 high card points, we've got 5 diamonds and 4 clubs. So we would open 1 diamond. Partner responds 1 spade. We're unbalanced, so we can't unfortunately respond in no trumps, but we are able to show our second suit. We can bid 2 clubs. Our second suit is below the barrier. Our barrier would be 2 diamonds here. We've opened 1 diamond. Our barrier would be 2 diamonds, but by bidding below the level of 2 diamonds, we are allowed to do that, because even though we've got a weaker hand, that's fine. If we were to bid above the level of 1 diamond, if we had a different shape of hand, we would need a stronger hand to do that. Now you'll come across some bridge books and bridge teachers and videos that will call this the principle of the reverse. So that's quite an old-fashioned term, but you will come across this a lot. People talk about reversing. That's not a very helpful term. It's often easier to think of this as just simply a barrier. But in some bridge books, bidding above the level of the barrier is called reversing. But I don't think that's a particularly helpful term for our learning journey. Let's look at some examples now where we open with a weaker type of unbalanced opening hand. So here's our first example: 15 high card points, 5 diamonds and 4 clubs. So we're unbalanced. We're obviously going to open 1 diamond. Our partner, this is their hand. they're going to bid a spade here. They've got 4 cards in spades. They've got 7 high card points. They bid a spade. Our rebid, of course, is below the level of the barrier here. We can simply bid 2 clubs. Partner would now prefer to play in 2 diamonds. They understand the shape of our hand. We've shown them that we've almost certainly got 5 diamonds and 5 or more diamonds and 4 or more clubs. In that case, they would prefer to play in a 2 diamond contract than a 2 club contract because it's very likely we've got more diamonds, so there'd be a better fit there. So they would just choose to play in 2 diamonds, and we would be happy to pass that. And 2 diamonds is the best contract there between those 2 hands. Example 2. Again, we've got a balanced type of hand. We've got 14 high card points, and we're going to open 1 diamond here. We'd like to open 1 no trump, of course, but we're not balanced here. So 1 diamond is our opening bid. Here's partner's hand. It's the same, a very similar 7 high card point hand, and again, obviously, they're going to respond 1 spade. Now, what does West rebid here? Well, by opening 1 diamond, we should, in our mind, automatically think of our safety barrier at the level of 2 diamonds. So we would love to be able to bid our hearts to show a second suit, but if we were to bid 2 hearts now, we would be bidding above the level of our 2 diamond safety barrier, and we would need to have a much stronger hand to do that. We'd need at least 16 high card points, and we would be misleading partner. If we were to bid 2 hearts now, we may well get carried away and end up much too high a level for the number of points that we've got between us and our partner. So unfortunately, we're unable to bid 2 hearts here. And all we can simply do is rebid our diamonds. We can't support spades, so our only possible rebid here is to rebid our diamonds at the lowest possible level. That guarantees we've got at least 5 diamonds. It tells partner very, very little about our hand. Obviously, they can't tell that we've got 4 hearts or anything else about our hand either. Unfortunately, now they're very likely to want to pass 2 diamonds because they've got a weak hand. They've got 3 card support for our known 5 cards in diamonds. They'll pass, and that would be the final contract. So the key thing here is because we have a weaker hand, we are not strong enough to bid above the barrier to bid our to bid our hearts. Okay, the third example. Here we have got 13 high card points, and we've got a nice long heart suit. We've got 6 cards in hearts, 13 high card points there. We're going to open 1 heart, of course. Here's the east hand. Again, similar sort of shape to the ones we've been looking at. They're simply going to bid 1 spade, okay? And now, what does West do to rebid? Well, here again, they don't have any choice here. There's no other suit they can bid here. They can't support spades yet. We're nowhere near. They've only got 2 spades, so they definitely can't support spades. The only choice they've got is to rebid hearts, and with a weaker hand, they can just simply rebid 2 hearts. Now that tells partner they've got at least 5 hearts. Partner doesn't actually know that they've got 6. There's no way to tell them at the moment that we've got 6 hearts. But partner will be happy to now play in hearts, knowing we've got at least a 5 to fit in hearts. They've got a relatively weak hand. They can't bid on either here. So that's how we would end up in just 2 hearts there by rebidding our heart suit because there's no other option available to us. Let's consider now openers' rebid options when they've got a stronger type of unbalanced hand. So that would typically be 16 or more high card points. Now they've got more options available, more flexibility to describe their shape. They're not worried about the principle of the barrier anymore because they've got a stronger hand. So they're free to describe their hand in many better ways. So let's look at the first example. Again, it's still always good bridge and good bidding if you can bid a second suit. Okay, so by bidding a second suit, we're telling partner that we've got a second suit of at least 4 cards, which automatically tells them we've got at least 5 cards in our first suit that we bid, or in most cases, there are some exceptions where that won't happen, but nearly always, if we rebid a second suit, then we're showing 5 cards or more in our first suit. So automatically, we've told partner about 9 of the cards in our hand. They know a lot about our shape. Okay, now, Because we've got a stronger hand, we're no longer worried about the principle of the safety barrier. So we are free to rebid suits that are higher ranked than our first suit. Okay, so here's an example here. We open one diamond, partner responds a spade, and here we would be free if we had a 4 card. So suppose we had 5 diamonds and 4 hearts. If we had a stronger hand with 5 diamonds and 4 hearts, we could rebid 2 hearts, and that would show the shape of our hand really well. It would convey that we got at least 4 hearts, at least 5 diamonds, and that we have a strong hand because we have bid above our 2 diamond safety barrier. So partner now knows we've got at least 16 points and that we've got at least 5 diamonds and 4 hearts. We have told partner an awful lot about our hand by bidding a second suit. That's always our preference if we can do that. Okay. If you can't bid a second suit, sometimes you might want to jump bid your own suit again. Okay, so bidding your own, rather than just simply bid your own suit, you're actually jump bidding it. But to do this, a key thing is you need 2 things. You need to have a strong hand, 16 or more high card points, but by jump bidding, you are also guaranteeing 6 or more cards in the suit that you open. So here the sequence: 1 heart, responder bids 1 spade. If opener rebids 3 hearts, they are showing 2 things. They're showing a strongish hand, 16 or more high card points, and they are guaranteeing 6 or more cards in the heart suit. You mustn't make this bid if you've only got 5 cards in the heart suit. You'd have to try and find another bid, or perhaps you would only be able to bid 2 hearts if you didn't have 6 cards there. And then the third option, often when you've got a really strong hand, you have a lot more flexibility. You can actually jump bid and change the suit. Okay, this shows this shows a lot about the shape of your hand in the same way that bidding a second suit does. But it also shows by jumping, we're actually making a game-forcing bid here and showing that we've got an awful lot of strength here. Okay, so this is a very strong bid. It's forcing to game contract, but it does need to make sure that you've got enough points to be able to force to game opposite partner's assumed point count. So here, 1 diamond, 1 spade by our partner. If we were to jump to 3 clubs, that would show a hand that had got at least 5 diamonds, at least 4 clubs, and it must have at least 19 high card points, because we're forcing to game by jumping to the 3 level, and we know that our partner might only have 6 points here. So 6 plus 19 would be the minimum amount for a game contract here. So if partner's only got 6, we would have to have at least 19 to be confident making that bid. So a jump and a change of suit is a very powerful and very strong bid, but you can only do that if you are certain there are enough points for a game level contract. Let's revisit the safety barrier concept in the context of stronger hands, just so that we begin to understand this a bit more. So again, here's the bidding ladder. Here's the bidding box that we're looking at. Let's assume my opening bid is 1 club. So if I make an opening bid of 1 club, automatically there's a safety barrier there of 2 clubs that I need to be aware of, and perhaps my partner, if they're thinking properly, would also be aware of. So any new suit that I bid above the level of 2 clubs would show a stronger opening hand. Okay, so let's look at what that means. If I open 1 club, my partner responds 1 heart, and now I rebid 2 diamonds. Okay, so 1 club, 2 diamonds is above the level of 2 clubs, which is my safety barrier. 2 diamonds is now above the level of the safety barrier. So I'm showing that I've got a strong hand, and I'm also showing that I've got more clubs than diamonds. I've got at least 5 clubs and at least 4 diamonds. Okay, so this is a way of using the barrier to show a stronger hand. You can only bid like this above your safety barrier when you have a strong hand, and when you have more cards in the first bid suit than you have in the second suit that you've bid. Okay, so here's an example of a hand where we might choose to do that. Here 17 high card points. We've got a 5-card club suit. We are unbalanced, so we're never going. We can't really be bidding no trumps at any point yet. So we're going to open one club to show our longest suit. Partner responds a heart, and now we can't support hearts. Clearly, we can't rebid in no trumps because we're not balanced. The best bid we can make now is 2 diamonds, and 2 diamonds is above the level of the safety barrier. Our safety barrier, don't forget, would be 2 clubs because we've opened 1 club. And that now shows partner that we have a strong hand. We've got at least 5 clubs, at least 4 diamonds, and 17 high card points, and 16 or more high card points. And that's how we can use the barrier to illustrate a stronger hand to our partner. Now, partner shouldn't pass now. They should bid on at least for 1 round. Let's look at some example rebids where opener has got an unbalanced, stronger type of hand. Here's the first one. And West has got a 17 high card point hand with a nice 6-card spade suit. They're clearly going to open the bid in 1 spade. Here's the East hand, and it would be right for East on this hand. They've got 10 high card points, so they can bid at the 2 level. And it would be right for them to bid clubs in preference to diamonds, bidding their suits up the line. So 2 clubs would be the right bid by East here. Now, what can West do here? They haven't got a second suit. They can't support clubs. But of course, they want to tell partner, firstly, that they've got quite a strong hand, and secondly, that they've got at least 6 cards in spades. And they can do that. They can rebid their spades by jumping to 3 spades, and that shows both of the things that they need to convey here, both their strength and the fact that they've got at least 6 cards. So they would bid 3 spades. And that shows at least 6 cards in the spade suit and at least 16 high card points. So you need to have 16 high card points to make this jump rebid, and you need to have at least 6 cards in your suit to do that as well. When you've got both, you can do that. And that partner now knows an awful lot about your hand. Clearly, they now know there's an 8-card fit in spades because you're promising 6 and they've got 2. And you're also promising at least 16 high card points. They've got 10 high card points. There are enough for game. Partner simply bids game. Let's look at example 2. Okay, here's the West hand. A nice 16 high card points, 5 beautiful diamonds, and good cards in four good cards in hearts as well. Okay, so we're going to open a diamond, our longest suit. That's no problem with that. East has got this hand. And they are going to respond to 1 spade. They've got a 5-card spade suit. Okay, now this hand came up recently in one of our beginners duplicate sessions on a Tuesday night at my club, and many people holding the West hand were so in love with the quality of their diamonds that they simply rebid 2 diamonds. Okay, now that's a gross error here. We can tell partner an awful lot more about our hand if we can bid our second suit. And here we would like to bid our second suit. Firstly, it's a major suit. We always want to bid a major suit if we can. There may well be a heart fit available, and of course, as you can see, there is. But secondly, if we bid our hearts here, we're telling partner an awful lot more about our hand. A bid of 2 hearts here has got 2 things going for it. Firstly, it shows that we've got at least 5 diamonds and we've got at least 4 hearts, but also it's a bid above the level of the safety barrier. Our safety barrier when we open 1 diamond is the level of 2 diamonds. We're bidding above the level of 2 diamonds. We're bidding 2 hearts here, so we are showing a strong hand as well. So we're showing both our shape, at least 5 diamonds, at least 4 hearts, and 16 high card points or more. Partner now knows a huge amount about our hand and can quickly work out what the final contract should be. They know there's a heart fit, 4-4 in hearts, and they know that we've got 16 high card points. They've got 9. Let's jump straight to game in hearts. There are enough points for a heart game, and we have a fit. Let's bid that. Okay, 4 hearts. Example 3. West has got a beautiful hand here. They are 5-5. Generally, hands with 2 5-card suits often play really well, and so we should be really excited when we pick up a hand like this, particularly when the fact that it's got 19 high card points as well. Okay, so West. Despite their having a really good hand, the right opening on this West hand is simply to open 1 heart. So let's do that first. And here's East's hand here. Of course, East should simply respond one spade. Show their 4-card major suit here. They've got a weak hand. They're not strong enough to bid the clubs anyway, but it would always be right to bid a 4-card major suit at the 1 level if you've got one. Okay, so 1 heart, 1 spade by East. Now, West needs to make a really powerful bid here. If West simply bids 2 diamonds, showing their second suit, that doesn't convey enough information about the quality of their hand. Don't forget, 2 diamonds here is below the safety barrier. It would be a bid that could be made on a much weaker type of opening hand. It might only be showing a hand somewhere between 11 or 12 and 15 high card points here. But here we've got a terrific hand, so we need to show this to partner, and we can do this by jumping. Okay, so we jump in our new suit. We jump to 3 diamonds. Okay, what that does is it tells partner that we must have 4 or more diamonds, and therefore, because we've opened hearts, we must have 5 or more hearts. So we've already told partner about at least 9 of the cards in our hand. So we've told partner an awful lot about our shape, but by jumping in a new suit to the 3 level, we have set up a game force. We are telling partner that we have to be in game. Therefore, we're telling them we know that we know there are enough points for game, even if they've only got 6 high card points. So we are showing at least 19 high card points by this jump to 3 diamonds here. So partner now knows you've got at least 5 hearts, at least 4 diamonds, and at least 19 high card points. So partner can work out that the right place to play this contract will be in a heart game. There is a 5-3 heart fit, because you've advertised 5, they've got 3 hearts, and even though partner's only got 6 high card points, they know that you must be strong enough to force to game, and you must have 19 high card points. So partner would simply jump straight to 4 hearts. Okay, and that would become the final contract. Okay, so those are some examples. We're going to cover this in a lesson with my group, and I hope if you've got any questions about this, let me know in the chat or comments on the video, and I'll see you in my next revision lesson. Thanks very much for watching.